Hey, I'm Kev, Mr. Cole, and welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the rider careers. Patrick McDonald is off the back of his first podium of the season in MotoGP as well. Can he go a couple steps further in France? And it looks like the rain gods may have shined on Patrick McDonald once again, as it is raining in Le Mans. You've seen this quite a few times already. Not just Patrick's career, but with Dan's as well. So he might only have to do one lap in qualifying one as he gets underway for that on his Aprilia. Coming off the back of a fantastic result in Jerez in Spain. Maybe cost himself a chance of victory with that first lap, but he's shown he's definitely got the pace on this bike for the whole of the season. Now he's starting to get the results as well. That's all. Had to lift off Meiji there over the bump. This goes through the right-hander. But this Aprilia's handled really well for Patrick. It's just maybe being consistent on it. There's been a bit of an issue. Staying upright on it has definitely been an issue. So let's see if we can get it together here in the 5th round of the season in France, which has been a very happy hunting ground for Patrick McDonald. And he's getting into that stretch of the season where the first few races can be very up and down, but after that, the rest of the season is much better. Even Valencia with the longer races seems to do well there. Let's go to the end of his first qualifying effort. You can see wet track, but it is clear overhead, so it could be a dry race maybe. It clears up in time overnight. It goes into the final couple of corners. Nice and smooth on the power and sets a 34-1. And look at that, he only did need one lap as he is 7 tenths faster than Jonas Folger, so makes it through to qualifying 2 with Danilo Petrucci, often so good in wet conditions, missing out on his Premac alongside teammate Scott Redding. Then Lars Baz, the home hero, out in 5th. Then Jack Miller, Alex Rins, Alvaro Batista, Hector Barbara, Tito Rabat, Paul Espargo, Carrie Brown, Sam Lowe's, and Bradley Smith all out. So let's see if Patrick McDonald can go for pole in qualifying 2. But we still have a wet track, of course. Has not dried up much from qualifying 1. Even though it looked in the background of the results page, it had dried up, but we'll see then as this session goes on. If it does, as Bertrand goes through the final couple of corners. Now he has 2 laps available in this session, but again, he might just need one to get underway. Get towards the first corner. Oh, very wide. Get down to first though. Well, the chicane runs a bit wide for the second part, then under the famous Dunlop Bridge. Then into the right hand, a very long right hander. You can take that narrow line in, go a bit wide through the apex, through the middle of the corner. You come back towards the corner. On the exit, then a hairpin of the left hander. It's almost losing the rear. Gone into the dirt. That's Patrick McDonald. I'm not sure that's the favourite line during that straight. Let's see if it works out as he goes onto the back straight here towards the chicane, the last section of the lap. That double right, he's got to watch out for moves into that corner in the race. It's nice, he hooks up the left and the right. Nice and smooth on the power as well, not spinning up the tyres on this qualifying effort. Gets it down to second, survives the bump there, which kind of pushes the bike away from the apex. Then you have the camber of this left-hander, which pushes the bike towards the apex. And the final double right on the circuit. As you rejoin the long track, you go towards the line with a 32.8, which is easily quickest. It's the first pole for Patrick McDonald in MotoGP and for the Aprilia Racing Team Grassini's team as well, with Maverick Vinales and Valentino Rossi rounding out the front row on there. Yamaha's ahead of Marc Marquez, Andrea Dovizioso and Cal Crutchlow, with Daniel Pedrosa in the third row ahead of Andrea Iannone on his Suzuki and Jorge Lorenzo on the Ducati. Then on the fourth row, it's her and Zarco, Jonas Folger, sandwiching McDonald's teammate Elish Espargo. But let's see if the Kenyan can back this up in the race and grab his first MotoGP victory. As we look at the grid with green steel at the front, as we look further down, there's Spargo in 11. Looking pretty happy about that. They probably should be doing very well in the race. So should those Premacs on the fifth row, with Baz as well, who's normally good in the unpredictable conditions. As we rev the engine, ready for the light stop here. And go out for this 7-lap race. Good start in the Aprilia from Patrick McDonald, as he wants to be shot out of a cannon at this start, so he doesn't have any issues heading into the first couple of corners and into the chicane. Looks like he's just holding off the Yamahas. A nice tidy line, much tighter than he did in qualifying. As we go down here, you can see the track already drying up on this opening lap. And look at almost a second ahead of Maverick Vinales, with Marquez up into the podium spots in third on his Honda. Looks like Valentino Rossi has dropped back to go into the left-hander. Nice and smooth on the power. Short shifted up to third as well. He's definitely not going to be mowing the lawn on this opening lap. Let's look at almost 2 seconds of Vinales now. Maybe they're probably just going for a more wet setup compared to everyone else, but we'll see how this track looks like at the end of the race. Because it's already drying up. You can see conditions a bit cloudy overhead, but still very sunny. We'll see if this Aprilia handles well on the last couple of laps for Patrick McDonald, as he's just racing away at the front. And Rossi back up to third ahead of Marquez. So Honda missing out on the podium places, but I'm sure Marquez will be fighting back. He often does. As that's the end of the first lap. And what is the gap behind? 3.2 seconds to Vinales and Rossi. Yeah, no doubt McDonald did the fast down at opening up. I think he was riding beautifully on his Aprilia. As all the rear tyre almost spun up there. Let's now go downhill into the right hander, very wide. Managed to hit that apex. And almost getting the back end out. So go into the left hander. And once again, short shifting up to third to get a smooth exit out of that left hander, so easy to spin up the tyres. I think there's already a dry line up here on this second lap. So it's going to be very dry in the last lap. The way this track is drying up, he's got the helicopter to the pilot hovering overhead on the back straight. Even though it's only McDonald here. Once again, he's maybe a bit lost on directions. As he got Vinales and Rossi behind by 5.2 seconds. Another 2 seconds already pulled out this lap by McDonald. As these wet tyres should not be wearing too badly. Especially if you short shifting up to third out the corners. As you go into the third lap, 32.8. It's just like qualifying all over again. For McDonald, but he's riding even better. Now that time should speed up as well. As this track dries up. There's a lot less standing water. As always, starts to bite very wide there, McDonald. Just cooling them down, you know, after heating them up. Or sliding the bike into the corner. Let's get a definite dry line on this third lap though. So can McDonald keep this pace up on the Aprilia? Or is he the hare which the Greyhounds will catch up to? He goes a bit wide into the first right. Not that bad though. As long as he carried momentum through the second right, but McDonald didn't do that. He saw the back end get out, had to get out the power. Tyres, I thought they wouldn't wear that much, but look at them in the bottom right. Not even halfway through the race. Already around halfway worn on the rear. Around a third on the front. So they seem to be running at similar rates as well. As the gap is so big behind, it's not even showing in the bottom left now. So the helicopter pilot's finally found the front stretch. Should have found out on the opening that. For the start maybe. So yes, they need to hire better pilots. MotoGP. So he is hovering to go into the fourth lap. 33.4. That time's dropping. No, that, but you saw that wasn't the cleanest lap. Getting the back end out a couple of times. To the corners. So going to the left and the right. And this performance as well, Patrick McDonald would definitely be delighting all the suitors in the paddock. I mean, it's not guaranteed to stay with Aprilia after the Mugello race. His performances on this bike definitely attracted teams higher up the order. You know, Suzuki's got an extra bike, KTM as well, for the wildcard rider Mika Kayo, but Pedro is also pretty handy. Of course, Yamaha do as well for their Japanese test riders, like Nakasuka. Is that how you say his name? And then Ducati do as well for the policeman Priro. He's a very good rider. Deserves more opportunities. So do all of the kind of one-off riders. And you see that with Mika Kayo when he's on the KTM. Pops up a couple of times a year, scores points, right up there with the regular riders. Of course, he's very experienced, the Finn. But still, showing that maybe he deserves another shot at MotoGP. He's finished runner-up in Moto2 in the past, as that's the fastest lap for McDonald, 32.3. That's how you bounce back after a poor lap. As we're over halfway through this race. Mika has already ridden with a factory team in Ducati in the past. Filled in for Casey Stoner when he had his health issues back in 2009. Remember correctly off the top of my head. So yeah, very experienced. It's the Finn, and no doubt that KTM are going forward. Mainly thanks to him as well as what has happened to the Premac guys. Petrucci out of 9th, Redding out of 12th. Did they collide? I did say watch out for them in the race, and they're definitely moving forward in the starting position. But now they've just ruined it. As they come to the last couple of laps and the tyres are getting into the danger zone over there. There's a track. Look how dry it is. But I might have to go offline a bit more. Cool them down. But still, he's got a handsome gap behind to Vinales and Rossi. Just honestly doesn't make any mistakes, which is a very big if with McDonald. He should be fine. To go into the last couple corners and approach the penultimate lap of this race. And also other teams you've got to think about. Maybe Ducati open up with their satellite teams with Premac. Maybe already seen with Avintia. And you've got Honda with Mark VDS and LCR. There's only one bike at LCR. Could maybe slot the McDonald in there. So there are lots of manufacturers and teams for McDonald to look at after the next race in Italy. But you can't be distracted by that now. He's on the cusp of getting his first victory in MotoGP. And only his 5th race in the class. He goes into the left-hander. Well, very much an unfancied Aprilia, Gracinia as well. Can get top 10s in the hands of Alicia Spargo. Can get last places in the hands of Sam Hose, but in the hands of Patrick McDonald, it can get podiums, it can get victories. As he goes into the last section of this penultimate lap, running a bit wide. Just cooling down the tyres again, you know. As the racing line is definitely drying out. It's going to have to be going offline to cool these tyres. You get into the left hand, there's no way you can go to cool the tyres. And there's virtually no tyre left on the rear.
And there's slightly more in the front as he goes into the final half of the race. As Patrick McDonald slips into the 33s. So that's a pretty good lap time. As he's got a handsome lead over the Yamahas of Rossi and Vinales. Just a minute and a half to go until the champagne starts flowing in the Gudicini garage. For the McDonald family as well, as he starts a bit wide into the right-hander. Again, it's going into the water if he goes wide. So he probably won't mind that. To go into the left-hander, hooking up that apex beautifully. Oh, gets up to third gear just before. But it says enough. Look, there's no way you can go to call the tyres off the line. And the back straight. As he eases it into the double right. Half the lap to go for Patrick McDonald. Oh, and the bike is temperamental on the power. He's got no rear tyre, got barely any front tyre left. Thought these wet tyres would be good on wear, but obviously not. As they got the pilots again found this section. As you've just been told 3 points to hover this race. As you go into the left-hander, just a couple of corners to go. As you leave the Bugatti circuit and rejoin the Circuit de la Charte. A massive long circuit for the 24 hours of partying for Patrick McDonald, which is about to begin as he gets his first victory in MotoGP. First victory for Gudicini with a prayer as well, as he wins by 12.6 seconds. Ahead of Maverick Vinales. He was on a class by himself, as he was 1.3 seconds ahead of his teammate Rossi was Vinales. And then we got Marquez in fourth. Good gap to Dovi behind in fifth. Then you got Pedrosa, Zarco, Renzo, Crutchlow and Ian only round at the top 10 on his Suzuki. Ahead of Jonas Folger. There's Lois Baz in charge. The home fans will be very happy as he gets his Avintia up to 12. Ahead of Alicia Spargo. Scott Redding and Alvaro Baptista grabs the final point for Aspar ahead of Alex Rins by a couple of seconds with Kyle Abram at the back. So in the championship, Rossi leads by 9 points ahead of Maverick Vinales, with Marquez down to third, 11 points back of his Yamaha rival, with Patrick McDonald up to fourth, just 18 points off the lead despite everything in the first third of this season, the multiple falls, the collapses in the races. He is right up there. 3 points ahead of Andrea Dovizioso, Pedrosa in 6th, Zarco 7th, Crutchlow 8th, Iannone 9th, and Lorenzo ran out of top 10 ahead of Scott Redding now, with Alicia Spargo up to 12th ahead of Danilo Petrucci after the Italians fall, with Jonas Folger in 14th and Lois Baz down to 15th despite scoring some very solid points. Albert Batista in 16th and Jack Miller in 17th. Alex Rins is now best of the non-point scorers in 18th ahead of Sam Lowe's, and Hector Wells up to 21st ahead of Bradley Smith. As in the constructors standings, Aprilia are up to third ahead of Ducati, 3 points ahead of the Italian constructor, with Yamaha leading the way 17 points ahead of Honda, 18 points ahead of Aprilia. Then we've got Suzuki in 5th and KTM in last. Well, on the team's rankings, it's a 24-point gap between Yamaha and Honda, with Ducati in third, quite a way back, 45 points behind. Then we've got Aprilia in for 33 points ahead of Tech 3 now, ahead of Premac by 8 points. Then LCR up to 7th ahead of Suzuki, despite being tied on points with Avintia, Aspar and Mark VDS all on the scoreboard. KTM, not quite. As yes, an ecstatic Patrick McDonald. Oh, the clones will be enjoying the Rhine tonight. Might not be able to see straight or remember where they were when they head to Italy, as there's not a big gap between the two races, so they've got to watch out. As the Yamaha guys exchange notes in the background. As full of confidence now, can Patrick McDonald back up his win in France with another one around the Mugello circuit in Italy. As there is Patrick McDonald heading downhill into this fantastic final corner, slide in the rear as he warms up for 2 qualifying efforts around this magnificent Mugello circuit. High speed, high drama, high action every time we race here. Let's see if it'll be any different for Patrick McDonald though. Well, you want here like a clean race, quiet race, like what happened last time out in France. So he goes a bit wide into the first corner. He's got to watch out for dive bombs into that corner, as you get an enormous slipstream down that start-finish straight. And hooks up that left and right. And this circuit mainly comprises of these chicanes. High speed chicanes though. Third gear mostly. For the MotoGP bikes. Now you see in all the apexes McDonald. As I said, right on a high after France. Some team members didn't turn up though here. I believe they're still somewhere in France. No one knows where though. Maybe enjoying the celebrations a bit too much. I'm sure they'll join back up for the race. Goes over the hill. Oh, he's hitting all the apexes, McDonald. Even into the tightest chicane on the course. This right left. Very easily to outbrake yourself into, such as the corner which is coming up. This long right hander. Taking kind of a medium line here. The kind of second or three grooves, not going out especially wide, McDonald. And now the fastest chicane on the course. That left, right. Now the final corner. Another corner which is so easy to outbrake yourself into. Well, he's got into the apex before it goes really downhill. You can pick up the power whenever he wants. This has been a nice tidy that from McDonald. He might not even need a second effort. We will see 46.9. Look at that. As he reaches over 210 miles per hour before going into the first corner. What's next lap? Hits the apex there. We're sliding a bit wide into the left. As all Tito about already down his Mark VDS machine. Nicola, he's tied with his first lap. Don't he continue going on this lap then? As he's hitting all the apexes. It's definitely the best that McDonald has ridden in MotoGP so far. That's nicely done through the far chicane, but he's 4 tenths down to his previous effort. See through the next split if he continues. As he okay, good speed through the double right. Can a bit more speed into the right and the left of this chicane. Oh, the back end trying to get out. As now he goes into the right hander, hitting the apex. You can see that back end get out as the engine brakes. This time short shifts up to third. Oh, and he's gained back 3 tenths. This could be an improvement. Let's keep going. Till the line. So once again hooking up that left hander. Short shifts up to third. Nice and smooth away. This is going to be very close to his previous lap time, is it? Oh, not. Couple tenths faster. And he didn't even need to do that second effort, as he would have been fastest anyway in qualifying 1 as he joined his teammate through to qualifying 2. Well done to Leash, who's less than a tenth of a second faster than Jonas Folger. Scott Redding out in 4th, and then you got your usual suspects. So let's see if Patrick McDonald can grab another pole in qualifying 2. As here goes Patrick McDonald for his 1 effort in qualifying 2. Would it be a pole lap? Let's get underway and reach speeds of over 210 miles per hour before slamming down the brakes for the first corner. Bit wide an entrance. Managed to hook up the apex in the second half of it. Then into the left hander, slide in the rear of the bike into it. Struggling to get on the power out of it. Through the right again, sliding. Then into the left, hitting that apex. Into the right. Kind of maybe leading a bit too much with his throttle so far. See if we can calm that down. Into the right hander. Braked, bit too late. Compromising for the left. Nobody's shot that pole, gone. But let's see where he can qualify. This goes through the double right, just about. Keeping the speed up. And then into the right hand. Oh, he's turning a bit early. Once again, messy. Just pushing a bit too hard, McDonald, this lap. As he's got a third of it to go. Let's go downhill into the right. Go revving up the engine nice and smooth on the power. Nice chicane as we head towards the final corner. Get it down to second to make sure you're getting that apex hit with the nose of the bike. And then make sure you have a fantastic exit. Got on the power very early. Let's see this that time. 46.9. So it wasn't too far for McDonald from his previous lap times, but as you can see, it's only good enough for 11th. As it is Fernandez back on pole ahead of Rossi and Dovi. Very good for the home crowd in third, with Danilo Petrucci in fourth on the Premac. With Cal Crutchlow fifth, David Jose in sixth. Then on the third row, Mark Marquez down in seventh on his Honda. You don't see that very often. With Zarco and Iannone, once again good for the home crowd on the Suzuki. Then on the fourth row, Lorenzo and the Aprilias. So let's see if Patrick McDonald can fight his way through the field to grab another podium. As we look at the grid, we're very happy Italians, 3 of them on the front page. And there's a crash in the back on the warm-up lap. McDonald's already down. So is Espargaro, so is Iannone. Let's hope that doesn't happen heading into the first corner. And so it revs the engine, wait for the lights to appear. And go out for this 6-hour race. He's got a nice smooth start, and look at how he'd already jumped the third row. He's attacking the Hondas into the first corner. And look at that, is that Marquez down the inside? Massive outbreak, and oh, he's into the back of Pedrosa. Cal Abraham down as well. You see his bike sliding, so McDonald down to 23rd. Just clipped the rear of Danny into the first corner. And he's behind his teammate Sam Lowes. So now can McDonald do this from last? Which he temporarily held as Petrucci. Danilo Petrucci leads ahead of Maverick Vinales. It may not be Rossi, but no doubt the home crowd will be happy about that. As here goes McDonald battling his way past the KTMs. He could be riding for, you never know, in the next race in Spain. Well, KTM's force him riding the next right. But he makes his way round Smith and Espargaro. Now next up on the hit list. Oh, it's Rins. That's all Petrucci down to third behind Rossi now. That's Loris Baz making the move off the back of a very good result in his home race in France. And then we've got the Mark VDS machines in front of Baz. So going to the fast chicane, almost into the back of the Frenchman. This one always got a fantastic exit though. Looking to the outside. Make that the inside for the final corner. So it looks like that's a bat. Going a bit wide. So it makes his way down the inside. He's going to be in the slipstream, battling for 16th. Obviously crossed the line for the first time in his 6th race. Petrucci did the fast out and open that, no doubt he did. Still in third. As he got Jack Miller in front. And all Rabat having a little look into the first corner. I said watch out for the dive bombers. As you get a massive slipstream. And this time McDonald looking down the inside of Hector Barber, who's in a point scoring position for once, the Spaniard. But he's dropped out of it now. He's got Alvaro Baptista in front in his yellow machine. He's got Dovi up to third ahead of Vinales. Now McDonald next on the list is the Premac of Scott Redding. The Brit nowhere near his teammate. There's all McDonald a bit wide on the exit. The right hander, but now he's got the inside line as Redding kind of messed up. That second of the double rights. Oh, McDonald all over the curve to make sure he makes that move stick. So next up is the Tech Freeze in next cycle, Folger and Zarco. He goes downhill behind, I believe that is the German in front. And then you got the Frenchman. He's right in the tail of Folger. Again, got a superb run out the fast chicane. That's the one thing you can say about this period. Definitely got superb acceleration. Stick out of the Easter Spargo, battling for 9th with Andrea Iannone in front. Doesn't look like McDonald will be getting slipstream this lap though, as he going to the third out of Rossi leading. With another fastest at 47.7. So approach the first corner, break around 100 metres. Make sure you clip that apex. So don't get any unwelcome visitors down the inside. Looks like Vinales is up to third ahead of Dovi. There's another reason for the Italian fans not to like him. He's just pushed one of their own off the podium. Let's look at Espargaro and Iannone. They're going like a hell for ninth. And on right on the tail of this four-way battle now for ninth. As well as Espargaro getting under siege from Iannone into the fast downhill chicane. Nick all three of them in a row. Almost into the back of Zarco. Had to shift down to second. Oh, and he's down. Just clipped too much curb. Oh, and gets into the Mark VDS bike of Miller. They both survived though in 17th. Does McDonald. Looks like Miller had to visit the gravel trap. There's Brady Smith down. So for McDonald, he's behind the Avintia machines in its like of Barbara and Baz. After his second fall of the race. Started on the wrong foot with the first corner. And then make his way through the field, just clipped too much curb. Into the right hand, and he's outbraked himself into the long left at the end of the lap. But he's going to get a superb slipstream off the Ducati in front. Oh, and Baz rejoins right in front of McDonald. That's unruly from the Frenchman. Used to like you, Baz. Just into the first corner, McDonald kind of outbrakes himself slightly. But he holds on to 15th. Had to use a bit of the rear brake as well. That's why the bike was squirming as you go into the second half of this race. He's got Alvo. Oh, Baptista in front once again, clipping too much curve though, McDonald. Trying to get the power down. He's got Redding battling with Folger in front for 12th. Looks like the German falling down the order. Well, for Baptista having a very good race. In 14th in the lower points places. So I'm looking down the inside into this right-hander. Now you can't do that with this next curb into the next right. Since you're going a bit wide, they're not carrying any speed through the corner though. Being slowed down by Alvaro. Just in his riding style, and he looks horrible. We've still got that group of three. Of Iannone, Espargaro and Zarco battling for 9th. He goes right into the right-hander. He's been all over the place this race. The opposite of qualifying. Well, he hooked up all the apex, he just didn't quite have the speed on the Aprilia. So goes Vinales and Petrucci battling for second. Wow, McDonald very unruly with the veteran Baptista for 14th. As we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. McDonald in 40th. He's getting points at least from this adventure. But can he grab a top 10? Is he too far back to do that? As Petrucci back up to second ahead of Vinales. The Pramac wants that home podium. Wants to be backing up Rossi in second. He won't be paying for any other meals the rest of his lifetime if he does that. Let's look at that, less than a second behind Volga. But just. He's got to be pushing like a hell in this middle sector as Espargaro ahead of Iannone. Zarco up to 9th. He's going to be bypassing that battling pair who've done that the whole race. So McDonald with the hard tyres on the rear. It should be working for him now, but instead you can see he's sliding all over the place. He's understeering everywhere. Rins down from 22nd on the Suzuki. So we're trying to push like a hell this lap. He's got the medium fronts. Just about gripping. He should be on the back of these two heading on to the start-finish straight, or else he's getting no slipstream as Dovi up to second ahead of Petrucci. Could be an all-Italian podium or not. Vinales up to third as they go on to their final lap. So here goes McDonald through the fast chicane. Can he get another superb run out of it? Because he has not gained like a hell on the pair in front like we expected. But into the final corner, very good braking. Almost attached to the hit to Volga. Goes round the outside of the Tech 3 up into 13th. And now be getting a slipstream with Scott Redding as he goes into the final half of the race. What can Patrick McDonald do? As old Volga pushes his way back into the first corner. McDonald holds it round the outside. Now he's nicking down the inside. Scott Redding into the right hand and nicely done up into 12th. Now can he grab his teammate? Maybe even grab a top 10. Over a second gap to make up though. Not helped by Scott Redding being unruly. He's now into this right hander where he's been getting it wrong all race long. Again braking too much on the front. Missing the apex. Looks like Zarco's found a friend as well in the top 10. Is that Cal Crutchlow? This goes wide. I'm trying to get on the power, just carried speed through the corners, but all over the place, McDonald. Hit up that apex though, into the right. Nice and smooth through the left. There's still an outside shot, getting some slipstream onto the start finish straight. Even though the bike's not liking it though, again in a braking zone. Bike just pushing forward on the brakes. Not able to get on the power much as well. But very aggressive through the chicane. He's in that similar position to what he's like with Volga. Oh, almost into the back of Iannone, round the outside of the Italian. Now can he get the slipstream with his teammate and nick a top 10 off him as Rossi wins? In Mugello, the chainsaws will be ringing out throughout the whole of the night. While Espargaro wins the battle of the Aprilias just ahead of McDonald. As he ends up in 11th, just a 10th behind his teammate, while Rossi wins ahead of Vinales and Dovi with Petrucci in 4th by a 10th. And just a couple of tenths of second. What a heartbreak for the Promec guy, but what a ride. With Cal Crutchlow ran out the top 5 ahead of Pedrosa and Marquez, who was the playmate of Zarco. Was he? No, it's Jorge Lorenzo down in 9th on his Ducati. Struggling was the Spaniard. There's behind the Aprilias, you've got Scott Redding, on his Volga. That T-Sen Baz grabbing the final point by a 10th second ahead of his teammate Hector Barber, with Alex Rins at the back. So in the championship, Patrick McDonald drops out of the top 5 behind Danny Pedrosa by a single point, 8 points behind. And Joe Dovizioso is now 38 points behind. Valentino Rossi at the top, lost around 20 points to the Italian, with Vinales in second, 14 points behind his teammate, and 13 ahead of Mark. Marcus is just 3 points ahead of Dovi. Then we've got Zarco in 7th, 22 points behind Patrick McDonald. Then Cal Crutchlow in 8th, Andrea Iannone in 9th. And Lorenzo ran out the top 10 with Danilo Petrucci up to 12 ahead of Alicia Spargo, just a single point behind his teammate now. And looking further back, go Hector Barber up to 19th ahead of Sam Nose and Tito Rabat. As in constructors standing, Ducati back up to 3rd ahead of Aprilia by 7 points, while Yamaha lead Honda by 31, with Suzuki on 38 points in 5th, KTM not on the scoreboard, while in the team's rankings it's a 50-point lead for Yamaha over Honda, with Ducati in a third of 41 points back. They're 70 points ahead of the Aprilia racing team Gresini, and they're 33 points ahead of Tech 3, with Pramac in 6th, LCR 7th, Suzuki 8th, Vinti 9th, Aspar 10th, Mark VDS 11th, and the factory KTM effort at the back. So now an important decision for Patrick McDonald. Which team does he ride with for the next part of the season? He has a choice of all of the teams after that victory in Le Mans. So he could join Honda, Yamaha, Ducati, Suzuki, LCR Honda, Tech 3 Yamaha, Pramac Ducati, Aspar Ducati, Avintia Ducati, the factory KTM effort, Mark VDS Honda, or stick with Aprilia, Cressini. Well, I think he is going to help KTM score some points, get some points on the board. A bit of a bold move, but he did that last season in Moto2, moving to the speed-up team, which struggled to score significant points, even in the hands of Simone Corsi, and he brought victories and was very consistent on that speed-up. Can he do the same thing with the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing team? And we will find out next time for the second visit to Spain, round the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, then a visit to the classic TT Circuit Assen in the Netherlands. Can Patrick McDonald get some points for KTM for the first time this season and maybe get himself back into the top 5 in the championship? Find out next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.